Many thanks for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, this is This Morning on ITV, the Wednesday morning edition. And of course, we'll quickly go straight to our talking point as we already have our guests seated in the studio to join me x-ray the front line of our political space. Well, the campaign season is already on, and what's next for Nigerians? Sitting very close to me is Henry Asemota. He's a political activist and, of course, a businessman. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And next to him is Comrade Ogbidi Emmanuel, a civil activist. Comrade, good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
And, of course, on my extreme left is Comrade Solomon Idiogbe. He's also a civil activist. Comrade, good morning.
Very good morning this morning, Daniel, and viewers, I hope a very beautiful good morning to you.
Okay, let's just start from you, Comrade Solomon. The campaign is on. Nigerians are watching. What should they expect come 2023?
Well, the campaigns are already on. The expectations of an average Nigerian is a better Nigeria come 2023. That's the expectation of every reasonable thinking, right-thinking Nigerian. And I know that because of the so many issues Nigerians have had in recent times, very many are gearing up to see 2023 come to fulfillment with a government that is responsible, accommodating, transparent, and also very proactive and not reactive. I think that's what the aspirations of the Nigerians are. But for some of us, we also know, and we believe very strongly, that the 2023 general election is going to be an election unusual. From what we are seeing very just now is to the fact that people are no longer very partisan. They are not no longer tied to political parties, ideology, hook, line, and sinker. People are going to vote individuals, as it were, and not necessarily political parties.
Okay.
Because of the so many things that had happened in recent past. So for us, 2023 is welcome development. Nigerians are watching. Nigerians are waiting patiently. If what we are seeing on the mainstream media and the social media spaces are anything to go by, you and I will know, or should know, that the 2023 general election is going to be a very big shocker to very many persons.
Okay, talking about the elections being a big shocker to many Nigerians, Comrade Emmanuel,
Yes.
What's your assessment on this current administration?
The current administration?
Yes.
Well, before I go to your question, let me just quickly add, to what my brother has said. Beyond I think one of the greatest injustice that the INEC has done to the usual politicians, so to say, or usual political party in 2023 election, apart from the Electoral Act 2022, is the length of the campaign period. Okay, spanning over 5 months plus.
Of course.
The usual campaign that the usual politicians are used to is the short campaign period.
The fire brigade approach.
They gather everybody and gather the unemployed youths that they have created over the years with their bad and maladministration, and rent crowd to sponsor all of that, speak jargons, and leave the stage. Today they are in Gombe. Tomorrow they find themselves somewhere in the south, and the next day in the southeast. They rush all of these things together in the name of campaign. So by so doing, they can't engage, Nigerians can engage those who want to become their employee. Okay, because Nigeria in this context is the employer. So, but this time in 2023, we have a very long period of campaign. What we are supposed to be seeing, politicians, political parties, and candidates that are engaging on policy statement and strategic planning as to the how, the when, and what they want to deliver to Nigeria. their manifesto and their plans already on ground and in the public domain, so that Nigeria can engage them based on this public statement, based on this public document, and have a social contract. But that is not what we are seeing now. They also want to delay. Nobody wants to do anything because they want it to get to the 11th hour and they begin to rush Nigerians and they will tell Nigerians nothing, and tomorrow they'll say we never said this. I haven't said that. Now, if I have to back to your question, the truth is this. If we have to go by the rating of the current administration, I would have said, ordinarily, for integrity and posterity's sake, that party shouldn't have produced any candidate. Let's be truthful in the mind of Nigerians. If it is by the performance of the current government in power, as far as Nigeria is concerned, looking at the various indices as to the macro and microeconomic indices, looking at the unemployment rate in Nigeria, looking at the insecurity in Nigeria, looking at the health sector in Nigeria, looking at the academic sector in Nigeria, where the lecturers are on strike for over 7 months, I think would have been hosting repentance party for the current administration and their candidate.
But the flag bearer is actually giving it to the president.
No, sir. You see, the political candidates, the candidates of a party, and the administration currently in power, they are like Siamese twins. No doctor should try, no political strategies should try to separate the political candidates who have been in this party in the formative state for over 8 years. In short, some of the major promises of Mr. President, as it were now, were promised by the incoming candidate. So anybody, any politician from that party that is trying to separate the candidate now and Mr. President has failed. And it's a clear indication that they have also agreed that they are dissociating, because nobody wants to associate with failure, that they are dissociating with the current administration because they know, and every Nigerian know, it is crystal clear, it is audible to the deaf, and it is visible to the blind that they have failed.
But recently, the presidential candidate met with the women wing of the party and actually gave credence to the president.
Yes, you see, that is why they are both the same. You know, sometimes they say when somebody stay too long in darkness, they begin to see, but it's a very bad vision. Perhaps he has also interpreted the current administration as to be a success, but to the over 200 million Nigerians, this administration has failed.
Okay,
and then
you wanted to react.
The first woman leader of the Nigerian state in their political party apologized to Nigerians less than 4 nights ago, saying she was apologizing for the failure, and that's the wife of Mr. President. So what are we deceiving ourselves?
All right, let's come to Henry Asemota. Should we now trust politicians come 2023? Should Nigerians trust politicians?
Jump question. Well, let me come like this. Like my brother have said, this election is not about the political party. It's about the individual.
Should we trust politicians?
There are some politicians you can still trust.
Okay.
You see, they say it is one person that will kill a dog. Then they will say that street is only dog that they kill.
That's
it.
What does that mean now? Okay.
When you kill a dog in the street, now if I kill a dog, when your dog is going to my street tomorrow, you say, don't let your dog go there. It's this dog that they kill to eat. You see, the leaders we have today that are at the aim of affairs have disappointed everybody. You see, the two political parties that have ruled this country should be swept away like a tsunami. They've disappointed us. They are a bunch of disgrace. You can imagine the primaries they did. When one delegate collected 12 million naira, how can you give 12 million naira to somebody for just a job of less than 24 hours? If it is a country where there is accountability, every person that collected that gave that money should have been resting in prison, because that is a fraud. That is an economic sabotage. Okay. I want to beg Nigerians, this great awareness that is flying everywhere, the wind of change is blowing, and it's going to blow all over everywhere. including to our rural area.
Okay, Honorable Asimota, I'm going to get back to you.
No, excuse me.
Okay.
If you believe that it's going to be business as usual, you are going to get the shock out of your life. Some of them will end up in the hospital.
Okay. Well, you don't have to be that mean.
No, they will end up when you get a disappointment.
It's a realistic
Of course.
Okay.
When you get a disappointment,
Okay,
and you never
Solomon Jobe,
you end up in the hospital.
He talked about sweeping the old order. But whether we like it or not, this new wave that he is talking about, we still have the old orders finding themselves in this new wave. So how do we try to separate them? For instance, we have two major political parties, the PDP and the APC. The PDP have had their share. APC is in power currently. But if you look at other parties that are springing up, we still have people that have been in APC one time or in PDP one time finding themselves in this new party. How do we now separate the good from the bad?
No, you know, it's going to be a difficult thing to actually say you can totally separate the good from the bad. Jesus Christ was the most holiest man, God-man, or God living the human form that dwells amongst men. Because the Bible says, and the word was made flesh and it dwells amongst men. So, which means God himself dwelt amongst men. So the holiest man that moved the planet had only 12 apostles, 12. And inside the 12, he still had a Judas Iscariot. If the holiest man could have a Judas amongst his only 12, not 30.
So it's not possible to sanitize political parties?
Yes,
it's not possible.
Political parties are not going to have bad eggs.
Okay.
But like I said, I want to maintain that this is going to be an election unusual. See, people should not believe that one political party is reigning or the other political party seems to be gathering momentum, that they want to go and hide their faces there. People are not interested in the political names.
They will filter you out.
They are interested in the political persons. And they will vote the political persons. It is going to be an individual vote cast. I've spoken with so many friends who are in certain big political parties. They'll say, well, my friend is in the other party, I'll vote for him in that. But for this one, I'll vote for it. And so that's how it's going to be. So having said that, we know as it stands today, there is no law properly regulating people decamping from one political party to another. When, how, where, and what it takes for you to jump ship has actually not been spelled out totally. But we shall soon get there, because we never knew while we were starting the democratic era in 1999 that we're going to have beavers. We never also foresaw that we're going to have electronic voting or electronic transmission of votes this close in 2022 as at 1999. But as the political system evolved, we are beginning to see so many developments. People are getting tired. You couldn't even imagine if about 5 years ago somebody told you that the legislators in the legislative chambers of the National Assembly would take a decision to say those who are political office holders, referred to as political appointees in government, should not be allowed to cast votes during political primaries. You will say it cannot happen, but it has happened in 2022. So I am very sure, very confident that as the political system in Nigeria evolves, don't be surprised in 2024, more political exercise, examinations and passage, bigger than jam questions will begin to arise. And these same political looters, if you like, you call them executives and legislators, will begin to
legislators.
Yes, I will begin to legislate rather than legislate that they are doing now to help the political system in Nigeria. And today, as we are saying, the judiciary will begin to adjudicate rightly on the issues that affect the common Nigerian persons as it affects political issues in Nigeria. Because what we are seeing in recent past, that the judiciary has been another major clog in the wheel of progress of the Nigerian political space. But having said that, I want to say very clearly that we are beginning to know them. You cannot hide. My brother just mentioned why I was talking. And it's a fact, it's a basic fact, that the candidates of the party of Mr. President as it stands today, because I don't want to start mentioning names, so I don't say.
You don't have to.
I have not, but I'm saying the candidate of the president political party, that's the party of Mr. President as it stands today, was the one who gave us promises, was the founding founder. In fact, he formed from the grassroots to get into their political party name after doing all the mega managers of the party. Gave us promises on how they were going to turn dollar to 1 naira or 1 naira to $1, and today a dollar is almost 1,000 naira. They made several promises, and when Mr. President assumed office, he said he never made those promises. You understand? And today the person who made those promises told us that the reason why he wants to contest is that it's his term. So it's sharing formula, and the last time I checked, I'm sure DPO Daniel Prezos Sadebane was not a part of that sharing formula that said this is
I am
strong.
not.
So, and Solomon Ijobeneda Obidi, no, my very brother at the extreme end there, a part of those who said it is stone. What we know, if the Nigerian electorate and electoral system works, it is the Nigerian electorate that decides whose stone it is, not somebody who comes to tell us it's his stone. So, that's what I'm saying, that the next election is going to be about political persons, and it's going to be a shocker to very many persons. Like my brother said, many will wake up, many will sleep and not wake up, and some will wake up in the hospital bed. So it is hard time Nigerians to take this momentum. Like my brother mentioned, it usually was 3 months max for campaign, and they will just rush. I still remember one slogan in 2016 when Adam Soshomole was governor here. They were doing election. He said, sweep them away. Oh. That is what is going to happen, like a tsunami. Many of these old orders and old politicians will be swept. But you saw what happened in Akwa Ibom when a certain political party gathered its supposed political faithfuls. What happened was an eye-opener. Show to you that there were no party faithfuls. They were higher crowd, because when the DJ switched the music to Obiche,
that was just it's a song. And that song has been in existence. That song has been in existence. That song has been in existence. Yes.
When the DJ perhaps maybe
the live band,
whether a live band, whether a live band or a DJ played the song, and then by assumption it was by mistake, the response of the crowd showed to you that there were no party faithfuls, that there were higher crowd, because it didn't quite dawn on them while the song started that something was done. But when the crowd pulled in and responded, it showed to them that there was a need to do anything.
Okay, I'll get back.
That's the kind of shocker
I'll get back to you, Solomon. Solomon, I'll get back to you. Honorable Asimuta, I know you want to react to that.
Yeah, I want to react to the question you asked.
But you have to make that very brief.
Yes.
Very brief.
The parties that are in power today, or that have been in power, the 2 political parties, like I told you the other day, what is happening today in Nigeria, God is right here in Nigeria, living with us. He wants to sweep those 2 parties. That is why he's bringing another 2 political parties that will take over from them. And you find out that these persons you are saying, that they move from the old order to the new order, they are the persons who could not cope with the old order. They are refined. If you check their track record, they are not, I cannot say they are perfect, but they are not as bad or as worst as these persons that are in the old order. Okay. So the 2 new political parties that will take over from these 2 political parties that have disappointed us is already on the pipeline. Okay. And after this election, the 2 political parties will stand. These other parties will be history. Okay, let's get to Obudi. Obudi, yes. Now, he's been talking about this old order being history. Now, is there any possibility for we to have a fresh party coming into power? Don't forget, yes. Atiku has been into politics for years. Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu has been into politics for years. And how do we now strike a balance? It's like, to me, it seems like a David and a Goliath battle.
Now, let me quickly correct an impression you made recently, that there are 2 major political parties in Nigeria.
No,
It's no longer two, sir.
We have a third force.
We don't have so many forces. We used to have two major political parties.
Okay.
But as it's where now, so we don't have two major.
The NPP is there.
No, we don't have to. We are not mentioning political parties.
You mentioned names.
Wait. No, Henry Asemota. Please. He has the floor. Henry Asemota, he has the floor. Let him go on. Please, we are with you.
Okay, as a matter of fact, let's be very clear. We have four major political parties.
Okay.
In Nigeria.
Yes. Okay, namely. Let's mention them.
Of course, this party we have the AMP, we have the NPP,
okay.
We have the Labour Party, we have the PDP, then we have the APC. Okay. Without prejudice to every other party. But we are looking at this
anybody.
Now, it is very possible, and of course there is nothing that is impossible, that we can see a political revolution, a political non-violent revolution in Nigeria come 2023, and it is staring at us at the face, and that is why some parties can currently be having political fever because of the election and the development. Why? Democracy is actually a government that fears the people. But when the people begins to fear the government, like what we have been seeing before, it means we are no longer in democracy. But what we are seeing now, we are beginning to see Nigerians rising up to take over the political process and engage the system and make decisions according to the the personalities of individuals, irrespective of the political party that they find themselves. What that suggests to us right now is that in 2023, federal minds will not work. Incumbent political party at the central will not work. Political big weight. We will see politicians, we will see money failing politicians. We will see those covering under the toga of parties, their parties failing them. Why? Because the determining factor of the 2023 election is going to be Nigerians and the Nigeria people. They are going to find and engage the system and cast their vote and also defend their vote. And the civil society is ready to take the front and take the lead in mobilizing the people towards the right direction. What we used to tell them before is to vote their conscience. In 2023, we will also tell them what they are. We will also engage them and sensitize them.
Advise them.
Because before now we say vote your conscience, they get to one place they are stuck. We say which one be conscience? Which one is the best person? And before you know, one political governor call them and mobilize them with 2,000 naira. Now this time we will tell them, sir, this is why you should vote A, and this is why you should go this direction. After engaging the process, after engaging those on the stage right now, applying for this position, we will take them through the means. We will look at the antecedent. We will engage them on the microscopic analysis to know their yesterday, to know what they've done. Many of them has looted this country before. Of course, somebody told me that if you want to assess all the political parties and their candidates, there's no one that have not looted Nigeria. Maybe perhaps we are looking for the smaller thief among all of them. Yes, we should look for the lesser evil. Why? Because until our political system and the process of electing a candidate has been changed, has been redefined in this country, perhaps we can even have a private candidate. We cannot totally have people who are free, who are totally credible and free from corruption yesterday. But we will look for the lesser evil. We will look for those that can have social contract with Nigeria. Those we can call to order tomorrow. Because I told people, I said, good governance is pre-election matter. It's 80% pre-election and 20% after election. If you vote in a criminal, for example, during the election, now that it's not a governor, it's not your leader, you are going to tell him not to steal. You are going to tell, if you vote somebody who is adamant to the yearnings and aspiration of the people, after he has become your leader, your president, will you tell him to listen to you? No. It is before the election you assess them and know if this is the person that can listen to Nigeria, if this is the person that can provide good governance and participatory governance where Nigerians will be inclusive in decision making and policy making for the country, that we will engage them on power.
Okay, let's come to Henry Asemota. Henry Asemota, is it not possible, from what he has said, is it not possible now to now have politicians who have clean records come into office? Is it not possible?
Of course, it's possible, but it might be not just very now. You see, what we are going to have now is the John the Baptist that is going to baptize the Jesus Christ, who will be credible. At least, like he said, we have persons that are lesser evil. We have persons who were in government and were able to touch the life of the people. Not the people who were in government, used people, looted the citizens, looted the country, and went abroad. Some of them are living in Dubai. Some don't stay here. Some are the richest landlord in Africa. Where do they get the money? Where do they work? It is our money. So if you look at the people that are contesting, you treat them. You look at the lesser evil. They might not just be pure. Like I know about my principal. I know what.
Let's be on track.
He has been given to the less privileged. He has given over 3,000 scholarships. Pilots, engineers, took them to China, took them to India, took them to Malaysia to study. Full scholarship. Some are even in Canadian University.
So it's not possible to have a politician that doesn't have a bad record.
It is not
For
possible 100%.
For now.
But if you have somebody that have 90%, it's as good as
even 60%.
Okay, he has the floor. We'll get to you.
Not a man that is minus 0.000000 compared to somebody that has 70%.
Okay.
You can't compare them. You see, once you have ruled this country in the last decade, definitely one or two things must have gone wrong.
Okay.
But it's not like the kind of people we are seeing now, who is ready to buy you, buy your head, buy your mother, buy everybody for the sake of winning election. Election is supposed to be free and fair. They allow you to vote your conscience. But I'm very happy now that Nigerians have begun to be very conscious. They've taken their destiny into their hands. That in 2023, it can never be business as usual.
Okay, Solomon Ijogbe, you want to react to that?
Yes, I want to add. It's
Okay.
not react. I want to add.
Okay, go ahead.
That I agree with him that it's not totally possible for us to have a clean slate.
Why?
Politician.
That's the question.
No,
Why?
See, because the system has been too corrupt. I'll give you an instance. The candidate of the Labour Party, for instance, was impeached twice while he was governor. You thought that was easy? Obviously, because he stepped on toes. And according to what he has told us, what we have heard, and perhaps a part of a few things we knew, is because he refused to play the usual ball. Now, we had times where people had to say, because you refuse to do this. And you know, in Nigerian political system, when you do the right thing, you are a wrong person. It's become like a normal Nigerian thing. I don't know if you've driven for once.
I have.
On the road, and then you get to a traffic light. And because the light had showed amber, and you are sure that by the next blink of a second, it will be showing red.
Yes.
You decided to wait. Sometimes it's even red because it was showing green while you were coming, and as you were approaching, it has turned red, and you apply your brakes to obey the traffic light. The next man behind you will be calling you names, passing serious insults.
Not knowing what has happened ahead.
No, new. They say you should have passed. Sometimes they look for a way to drive around and stay, on a parallel line with you and begin to cast aspersions and say, you see you now, I would have passed if I was in front of you. And you begin to ask yourself, I just did what is right, but I'm now the bad egg. That is what the Nigerian political space has been in the last 2 decades. Because Nigerians over time has been able to produce stronger persons, weaker institutions. How can somebody come and convince Solomon Ijogbe that during the 2 mega political parties primaries, the one you refer to as the 2 major political parties, as he then was, when we saw in the open, like our brother Patrick Obayagbon would say, it was like a mene teke of ase, audible to the deaf and visible to the blind. That money exchanged hands. both in their hotel rooms and in the field, that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission was present and the Individual Corrupt Practices Commission was also present, and they said they saw nobody. They saw nothing and they saw nothing. Nobody was arrested. What does it imply? That we are in an animal farm where some animals are more equal than others. So those who attempt, if you read Animal Farms, those who are tempted by any means to disobey the order, the dogs will go after them. Those are the ones the SEC and the ICPC will run after, if you like, the Nigerian police. So, what we are trying to say, that over time, Nigerians have not been able to sanitize the political space and the political system. And as such, cannot for now say categorically that the block or the chains of persons coming to contest in the political space
are corrupt free.
Yes, will be totally free.
Okay.
That is not to say that they are totally corrupt, but we cannot say in clear terms that they are totally free.
Okay.
Because when then they chop, oil must roll through the hand, either by omission or by commission. But let me say this, like he said, what we are having by the political momentum as prepared by the young persons in Nigeria, like a Holocaust, or if you like the NSAS movement started, now play, and almost swept Nigerians off their feet.
Okay.
Is this new order that we are seeing, that it's good, it's like a John the Baptist who came to prepare the way for Jesus Christ to come. And so what we are seeing now, as it were, he were quick to mention, until my brother corrected it, that we have 2 major political parties. And he said, no, there are 4 major political parties, because you cannot, by your widest dream, take away the Kwakwasorians or the obedience out of the equation. You cannot, by any means. So, and now, it's a like my brother said, many of these old orders, or the old usual mega political parties, are having political fever as it stands today.
Okay.
And so, by 2023, there will be a statement. We may not get it totally right. That's what we are saying. That we may not get it totally right. We'll be close to getting it very right. And by the next movement, it will be better. Like I said, in 2019, we didn't know that the beavers will come and correct so many animals. And do you know the greatest shocker that will happen today? This electronic version of results. Because, like my brothers, the civil society situation room and society practitioners in this country are going to be an auxiliary server to INEC in case their server breaks down. As our cell phones will be, a backup server. Because we are going to ensure that as you get your result, collect it, send it. We'll be happy they count. So in case they miss counting, we won't miss.
Okay, let's come to Ogbede Emmanuel.
Yes, please.
Civil societies in the past, some were one time or the other infiltrated by politicians. Are you sure we will not experience same come 2023?
Now, you see, what people don't understand about, the civil society or the civil movement is this. Now, civil society are not partisan participants in politics. We are very political
oriented,
but not partisan.
But most times, reverse used to be the case.
Those are the ones registered by government.
Now, you see, let me tell you something. People don't really understand this. Every civil society activist, of course, also is a normal human being like you.
Sentiments.
And also have a choice. And also have a sense of direction. The only thing is that they majorly, we call ourselves the intellectuals. Why? We are able to devise the means. We are able to analyze the situation, analyze the system and individual to know the right direction to go. Many Nigerians could be gullible. Many Nigerians could use sentiment, but the civil society, we don't use sentiment. We use the the future of the ordinary Nigerians, the talakawas, the plebeians, the ordinary man in the streets, the market woman, what they feel, and those who can better their lots. Okay? So, in 2023, like what I said before, usually we'll tell the people, go and vote your conscience. Go and vote anybody you think is proper. Anybody you think is proper is not choice, because what you think is proper can be induced because of either the wrapper that came, or because of either the rice that came, or because of either the maggi that came to the rural community. They'll say, now that man want to feed us now. That is what they tell them. But this time, we are going to have a sensitization process before the mobilization process that will lead to the direction of our 2023 choice of election. Now, what am I trying to say? The civil movement is going to be active. We are not going to be neutral in 2023 election, but we are going to analyze the system and help Nigerians understand the reason why they should secure their future. Because every political general election is like a blank check for Nigeria to redeem their future. It's like a blank check for Nigeria to rescue their children yet to born. And if they miss it, it means they are going to suffer for another 4 or 8 years. You and I cannot continue like this. These days, if you go to the market and you take 50,000 naira to the market, well, by the time you are coming back, what you have gotten cannot even full a backo bag. And you begin to ask yourself, did I lose money? Why? Because the naira has lost value. Why? Because our farmers can no longer go to farm because of insecurity. And if they cannot go to farm, there is food insecurity, there is inflation everywhere. Your salary cannot take you 1 month after the month end. Your minimum wage, a bag of rice is higher than minimum wage. Is that how we train our children? And yet, school fees is increasing, house rent is increasing. So, it is an opportunity. It's a blank check for Nigeria. And the only way we can get this clear, and the only way we can do this, is for the civil society community. And now when I say the civil society community, one, the religious leader, the traditional leaders, the community-based association leaders, the civil society leader, they all encompass the civil society movement. Before now, when politicians come to you as a pastor, you pray for them and you say, God will be with you. This time we are telling pastors, sir, if politicians come to you and it is the politicians that have failed yesterday, tell them, Oga, you failed yesterday. We gave you opportunity once upon a time, you failed. I will pray for you, but you don't have my support. That is another level. Before now we make a general statement, religious leaders should not miss it. Let them tell them we can't support you. You know why? Because you failed yesterday. These politicians will respect you for it. They will love you for it. Why? Because you tell them the truth. Politicians are not changing. The usual politicians, let me not generalize it, they are not changing because nobody is telling them the truth.
Well, INEC has actually restrained them from campaigning in churches.
No, look at it. There's difference between sensitizing your people for the right direction. There's difference between sensitizing them for right direction and coercing them to a right direction, to a direction. As a traditional ruler, somebody come to you, pray for them. Let your whatever you believe in, pray for them, but tell them where they have failed. We've not been nobody has found the guts to speak truth to power, and that is why they've taken Nigerians for a ride, because you hate them. You seek political holistic hallelujah, even when you know they are looting and draining you and draining your economy, looting our common patrimony. When they call, they are celebrities. They are giving chieftaincy title. They are giving positions and front rows in the church. So they actually think that looting and legislating is the right way to do it.
Like Solomon said.
Exactly. So now we are going to change the narrative. We are not saying coerce anybody to do ABC, but sensitize them on how they should rescue Nigeria. And we all know how to rescue Nigeria.
Okay, let's come to Henry Asimota. It's becoming a norm that it's only during elections you see politicians hitting the streets with things to give to people. But after election, we don't see that. Why?
Well, because they think that is the only way they can buy the people's conscience.
Okay.
You see, I always tell anybody, if you go and borrow 50 million, 100 million to share to people, to buy things to people, once you win, the person will vanish. Because first, he's going to recruit his 150 million that he has given to you, or the one he has used to buy rice, or to buy mangi, as the case may be. So today, that is why Nigerians are very conscious now that we don't need your money. We want to vote for those people that can represent us. We want to vote for those persons that can, give us what we want, the dividend of democracy, which cannot be bought with money. So, as of today, I want to advise the youth. They've been very steadfast for the last few months. They should continue in that pace, in that memento, that their destiny is in their hands. It is not about 1,000 naira. It is not even about 20,000 naira. That will not last you for 2 days. It is about your destiny. It is about your future. Yes, look at a lot of graduates, they are at home. They don't have a job because Nigeria is only a consuming nation and not a producing nation.
Okay.
So I want to beg the youth, use this medium and opportunity to beg the youth that they should keep in the right track. They are on the right track now. They are letting the old bourgeois know that it's not business as usual. So I'm still begging them that no matter the kind of money they will throw around, dollars, pounds, they can even collect it and do the right thing.
Solomon Ijogbe, there is hunger in the land. Nigerians are hungry. Is it possible, practically impossible, to give blind eyes to some of this gift in quotes that comes from politicians during the campaign season?
It's not totally possible.
Okay, why?
Because there's, like he said, what the Nigerian political elite has done over time is to produce, we don't produce edible products, usable products, but Nigerians are very good. Nigerian political elites are good at producing poverty and distributing poverty.
In form of cash?
Actions, deeds, attitude. You have to do good roads, you didn't do. You have to provide pipe-borne water. It's not there. We don't, pipe-borne water now
it has faced
does not exist
of
in
course.
Nigeria, political arrangement anymore. Even good roads are also gradually phasing. Because if you tell me that it is in the Nigerian arrangements, if you put it in budget, it doesn't exist. If it does exist, East-West Road, Binia-Uchi Road would have been completed since God knows when. But it's still there. I'm sure after this government, the government coming will still be doing it. So, good road does not exist. Healthcare does not exist. If it does exist, our president will not have been flying UK, Dubai in the last 6.5 years. So, we know that the Nigerian government and the Nigerian political elites are producers, mass producers of poverty in Nigeria. Because when you don't graduate young persons, imagine you have wasted 7 months of the academic calendar.
Spanning to 8 months.
Now, and what are you expecting? How will they catch up? It's going to be a rush thing when school resumes.
And that's why we produce half-baked graduates.
So he still have the floor. Go
and
ahead.
At the end, like he said, they are going to have half-baked graduates who don't know how to dot I's and cross T's. And then our political elite will end up using the monies that they loot from us to get chieftaincy titles.
Solomon Ijogbe, some of these words, I'm coming, he's still on. You have to hold on. Henry Asimota, you have to, Henry Asimota, please. Henry Asimota.
Is to make it poor.
Henry Asimota. Honorable Henry, please. Gentlemen, please. Solomon, go on.
Yeah, so, like I said, Nigerian political class knows that the strongest weapon of control or instrument of control is poverty. And so they have this control syndrome that they do, and they enjoy it. So now that we know, we must continue to see how we can rechannel the energy. But I thank God that the NSAS movement was an eye-opener to the Nigerian political elite, and I'm sorry to say that they are yet to really learn that the Arab Spring movement can happen in Nigeria, that it was just a test run by that NSAS movement. I am still going to make reference to Akwa Ibom. What happened in Akwa Ibom? That they hired crowd. Because you cannot tell me that a true political party faithful will not be able to decipher the meaning of an obituary in a political party rally. And that they all swept their feet and ran into the podium, ran into the main board, and started. They were not singing it much more than the guy.
Like I told you, that song has been in existence.
Even the guy was a sabotage.
Yes,
He knew what he did.
now let me tell you one truth.
The guy was a sabotage.
Let me tell you one.
Go on,
Let
Solomon.
me tell you one truth. Today, the word obedience is not a new word in the English dictionary. But when you say obedience now, it's the beginning of wisdom to many politicians today. I don't know if you understand.
I'm trying to.
It's not a new word. It's not a new word. So when you say obedience is better than sacrifice, an ordinary man will don't understand that you are going somewhere as far as the political system, because we're in a political era. Now, for a political rally of a presidential candidate of an opposite party, as it were, and such a song was sang, and the supposed political faithful came in and helped to re-echo, and if you like, resound it resoundingly. And you want to say it's a sabotage, it's okay, but why I'm going, because of the question you asked, we cannot, because of the poverty level, tell Nigerians not to collect money, but we can advise them
Collect and vote your mind.
to vote and vote the right persons, because nobody is, unaware, or nobody is alien, or nobody is sleeping, or say I'm not conscious of the nature of insecurity level in Nigeria today, or nobody can say they are unaware of the poverty level in Nigeria today. Nobody is unaware of the level of mayhem, political decadence, economic nosedive in the Nigerian economy today. Nobody can tell you today that I'm unaware that there is kidnapping, robbery, banditry, and if you like, herders, farmers clash. That's what the federal government always wants us to refer to. When you are talking about herders invasion, you say no, it's farmer herders clash. Nobody, because even in that your small village, they are not sleeping. So people are showing revolutions. But to say not to collect money, because there's so much poverty. And so people, you cannot totally say don't take.
Okay.
As much as we advise if it is possible, because I know that they call a DPO today and say take, he is very most likely not to take. Very most likely not to, because of his level of exposure. But if you call a common woman in the village, she's very most likely to take. But again, because of the sensitization so far, she's very most likely also.
That has been on.
Yes, to change her mindset and vote for the right candidate.
Okay.
And that's where we are. And that's what Ogbidi was referring to. That what we are doing, go and check. It is not the political parties that is doing political sensitization now. It is the civil society movement, the NGOs and civil rights activists that are doing campaigns on change of, perception, change of ideas, and a new Nigerian system. Because what we need today is a new Nigerian, because the old order has failed and is still failing.
Okay, Ogbidi Emmanuel.
Yes.
The recently signed peace accord, can it give birth to a zero violence election?
Well, you see, as a Nigerian that love peace, and also looking at the caliber of persons who put the peace accord and everything together, we want to speak in support of the signing of the peace accord. Why? Because ordinarily we should sue for peace. Okay? We all pray and we want to see a violent, free, fair, and credible election called 2023, which is 80-90% the responsibility of the chief security officer of this country, Mr. President. And I want to use this medium to appeal to the president, as a matter of fact, that beyond words and statements that he made in the United Nations General Assembly that he's going to give Nigeria free, fair and credible election, that it is not a gift. It is the rights of Nigerians to have a free, fair, violent, free, fair and credible election. And as such, he must do well to stand, be on top of his game, to engage security agencies, the police, the Nigerian army, and every other security apparatus to ensure that they remain neutral. And not when we get into an election, you begin to hear politicians, big names.
Solomon.
I beg to differ. Should not engage security agencies.
Solomon, let him continue.
I'm coming, sir. So that it should, we will not get to the political era. Mr. President will be somewhere, and a political party or the ruling party chieftains will be giving directions to security agencies. That we must warn against. So the peace accord movement is very okay, but we must speak to the politicians, the candidates who went there to sign this election. It is to sign that peace accord. Now, they must first of all engage their followers, because I want to also see, maybe by next year, before the next general election, we'll have an electoral act that will spell out what a campaign should be. Have you ever seen any campaign jingle of a political candidate or a political party? At the end, or maybe 4 minutes or 4 seconds of that jingle, that will say, "Don't engage on violence because I no send you." Have you ever heard something like that? Politicians will not sensitize their followers not to engage on violence, because they feel if they engage in violence, it will be on their own advantage.
They want to intimidate you out.
So they want to intimidate the so-called their opponents, either maybe with security agencies or with talks, or those that they can buy with money, or maybe they can hire the lions and tigers, like what we've been seeing before. So in this election, politicians should not hire lions, because lions don't vote. Politicians should not hire tigers
in human forms, because
tigers don't vote. Politicians should not hire talks, and should not spend monies on those who could carry AK-47 on election day, because they are stuck in trade is AK-47 empowerment during election, not sensitizing the people. So beyond that, Sana, we want to sensitize Nigerians. These people, their children will not be there. Don't go for any violent mission for any politician. So having signed the peace accord, we also need to sensitize our electorate. Having voted, you must stand to defend your vote. Community-based leaders should organize their community and withstand any form of infiltration and report any suspicions. Then above all, I told you we don't have control 100% over this the candidates who have wanted to sign those peace accords, but we must speak to their conscience. Okay. And the security agency must read, the IGP must read the riot act to every politicians and their parties and their candidates, that if they are found perpetrating any violence, they must be held responsible. INEC currently don't have the power to outrightly disqualify a candidate when they are found doing XYZ violence. So, if the police, we've had cases where particular violence is carried out, and they were arrested. Before they got to the station, calls came, and they were released. Where did those calls came from? So that is where the responsibility of the chief security officer of this country must ensure that he himself is the #1 advocate of the peace, free, fair, and credible election that will not be influenced by any direction or by any instruction to security agency and every other across board. So having said that, sir, just to add to what my brother said, you see the youths in this very election 2023, we cannot say don't take money. You know why? Because there are many people who think about today. Why? Because of the production of poverty that have been produced by this same political class over the future. But what do we need to do? Very recently, sir, we discovered something. You see the modular refineries that came to Edo State. By research, we were told that over 700 million were used from the Edo State cover. Now, in 2015 election, sir, 700 million came to a political party in this state, was collected by a pastor and one man with big tummy in the donuts, and they said the money was for the party. Now, that money came to the state. From the state, it went to the local government. From the local government, it went to the wards. What were EFCC doing? Sir, 5,000 naira is not economic crime, sir. 2,000 naira on election day is not economic crime.
You think so?
Sir, it's not economic crime.
You think so?
Yes, it is not. It is not. You cannot tell someone, our constitution said we should not steal, but the constitution said you should go hungry. The constitution did not say we should go hungry.
So are you encouraging vote buying?
No, we are saying, what we are saying is this, like what my brother said, collect this money and don't let the money influence your decision. And if the security agency must fight vote buying, they should fight it from the top. A month to election, monies is going to move from federal to various states. So track the money. Follow the money. The money will land in the states. Who collected it?
For what?
And from the state, it will move to local government. Track the money. This money is going to either going to be carried by bullion vans. Who followed bullion vans?
Police.
Is it me and you? Is it not security agency? There should be reports. This money moved through the bullion vans to somewhere. Then the EFCC should be alerted. It moves from the state to the local government to where? The EFCC should be alerted and tracked. So if you don't track the money from the states, and you don't track the money from the local government, and you didn't track it in the world, then you come to the field to arrest Mama Osaro, who have not eaten for 2 days, that she collected 2,000 naira. That is injustice, sir.
Okay.
So track the source of the money, and don't track the hungry Nigerians.
Okay.
Who collect, because it is not a crime to collect gifts.
Well, from your reaction,
So
Solomon.
those money, we can't call those money. That is not where the vote buying is. So the vote buying came
Start
from the
somewhere.
top.
Okay.
So it should be tracked from the top. That is my position.
There's a source that is traceable. Solomon
Thank
Ijogbe, you want to react to that?
No, I was just trying to say that what my brother has said is clear. That when you talk about economic and financial crimes,
Okay.
it starts from top. It's not a bottom-top approach. It should be a top-bottom approach. Why? There's a law in Nigeria that you cannot lodge in X amount. If you have more than XY amount and you are lodging it in, the bank should alert. And when you draw more than so and so amount, the bank should also alert.
So do we have bank managers reporting such transactions?
Does it happen in Nigeria? I said we have had weak institutions and stronger persons. Now, when you talk about political errors, you saw when some diaspora Nigerians were trying to give money to certain political party in Nigeria because of their love for the political party's candidates. Federal government quickly came out to say you cannot. That will be sabotaging Nigeria political system. Until arguments started, brewing to a very high level, then I said no, the political party's candidates can access that money as an individual person, but the political party cannot, because the political party does. It should hand over such money to INEC. And listen to the.
Okay, we are running out of time. We are running out of time, Solomon. We are running out of time.
Yes, quickly. If you want to track inducements,
yes,
vote buying, we want to eradicate it. It should start from state house, as in state house at the federal, okay, state houses at the state. No, that's where the
all right, thank you, Solomon. Thank you, please. Solomon, let's get to Harry and Sumota. We'll just wrap it up from there.
I want to support what you have said, but it will be very impossible. You know why? These same persons that are the power that be, they are the owner of police.
If we talk now, that's the weekend institution.
So it cannot work. The only way to work is what you have just said.
All right.
Sanitize our people,
okay,
that collect this money, don't vote. If they do it first election, second election, and the people collect their money and don't vote, they will stop
boys and I open.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Harry and Sumota.
The governorship election, where some parties were giving 2,000 naira, and those who were giving 20,000 lost. And the one that was given 2001.
All right, thank you so much.
If they continue like that, first election, second election, you collect their money, you don't vote for them, they will not bring you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys for being part of the show. We are sorry we have to take a short pause now. I will take the next segment on the show. Don't go nowhere.